Yo, what's going on with y'all? This your boy Neo XO here to bring you guys another Black Clover video, and today I'm joined with Co-Spirit and we're going to be talking about if Yuno is a badly written character or not. So go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
So basically, I've been seeing a lot of people just absolutely slandering Yuno online. They say things like he is bland, they say things like he is weak, and Cole also reads Black Clover a lot and he knows what he's talking about also. So we're just gonna have a educated discussion on it just to basically see both sides of the argument. So I'll go ahead and let you start off with your thoughts and opinions first.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into like Black Clover and with Yuno's character specifically, I was pretty iffy on him because there were certain parts of him that I liked or admired about him, like how he, during the scene when the royals were like insulting Asta and he was about to grab his grimoire when they were going to attack them, but he didn't do, like he was basically going to help defend Asta, but he didn't end up doing it because he knew Asta could like handle himself. It's like those minor moments that show his true character. It's the subtlety with his character that I like, but those first initial moments, it's just he is kind of dry at the start. I will admit that, but I feel like he gets way better with the subtlety that's given to him with his relationship with Asta, in my opinion.
So what do you actually think it is that people hate on him for?
I mean, honestly, I think it's really just because of like the power, honestly. I mean, I don't know, because I'm not sure exactly what people like hate his character for.
I think you actually touched on something. I'm gonna elaborate on what you just said. When it comes to his power, people like to say that his power comes out of nowhere, and you know, I'm gonna take the middle route here, and I'm gonna be on kind of both sides of the argument because I'm not just gonna be turn a blind eye and say like Yuno is this perfect rival, because I've seen a lot of anime and Yuno sometimes he falls flat, and I see what they're saying. So one of the arguments, like you said, is that they complain about his power, and recently he had a new form in the manga called, you know, his Boreas power or whatever, and basically people were saying how it kind of came out of nowhere, and they were saying how we saw Asta training for 6 months, and we know that Asta trained with the spirit guardians, and they were basically saying that we don't even really know what Yuno was doing. And I rebutted, then I said we saw him training with Langris, and they said that was not enough for him to be able to unlock such a great power in a matter of a couple of days.
Only thing is, what they're forgetting is that this isn't Yuno's power, that's Sylph's power. Remember, she was the one, Belle, she's the one like storing up. She literally said she's been storing up mana since they took the L against Zenon. Like, I don't understand how you could at least say that's like an asshole if it's been foreshadowed that like Belle was already storing up a lot of mana, more than she naturally already does in his base form.
So from my perspective, I think that it's justified. I think that it's justified because this is what I tend to tell people. I say, okay, I see where you're coming from. Yuno definitely does be getting power-ups and we don't see where it comes from, because like with Asta we see him actually training, but with Yuno it's like he doesn't get that much screen time, so it's hard for him to get as developed as Asta, because in my opinion Asta is just 100 times more developed than Yuno, and they're rivals, so I guess people want them to be equally developed. And when it comes to Yuno, it's kind of like he disappears for a while and then he comes back in some type of fashion, and you know, he might have some new power up or something to show off, and I definitely see where they're coming from. But on the other side, like, I gotta play both sides here. He does have a 4-leaf grimoire, so it's to be expected of him to be able to do these type of things, you know.
And he's also royalty technically now, so
Facts, that too.
There's that too.
And he's also loved by mana, so it does make sense.
Loved by mana like Lick. So
it makes sense for him to get these power-ups, but I don't know if people would consider that lazy writing or not, for Yuno to just be kind of given these powers just based on his fate, I guess.
To me, you could argue both ways, but the way I saw it is that it was just Sylph's power. Like, I never looked at it as like, yeah, Yuno's the one using it, but I never saw it as like, oh, this is like an full form because got it. Like, no, I just saw it as Belle giving him a form because she stored up on it over time. Like, I didn't really think of it in the other way people were thinking about it, to me at least. Because it seemed pretty straightforward in how it worked.
I kind of see it as destiny. Like, Asta has a destiny, Yuno has a destiny, and their destinies converge. So I feel like it was Yuno's destiny to be chosen by the four-leaf grimoire. It was his destiny to be chosen by Sylph. You know what I'm saying?
Or fate.
Right. And I just see like I can justify that, but switching over from talking about his power a little bit, let's talk about his personality. I'll let you go first on that.
See, now, initially going, like I said before, getting into Black, it's like personality was pretty standoffish. We didn't really get much of him at first sight, but as the series went along and we got more of those subtleties about his character, we really did get to see that he actually does genuinely care about the Golden Dawn members. But not only that, but Asta as a person too, because like, even when I know I always like just going back to that one scene when the royals were all insulting Asta, and Yuno was about to defend him. He was literally about to get his grimoire out before he just stopped. But it's like, it just goes to show, like, yeah, Yuno, like, even though he can be standoffish, it doesn't mean he doesn't care. Like, it's just, he's just an introverted person that's like just in his, like, he's not going to go out of his way, Asta.
And I'm gonna be honest, him being an introverted person can sometimes come off as him being stuck up, honestly. But the reason I say that
too, because sometimes it can come off like that, even though that may not be his intention.
And that's why I can see why some people would say he's bland, because when you look at other characters like Charmy, she has that charm to her. When you see Asta, you know, he's funny. We see Noelle, she has her own personality. Even Noct, you know, I feel like Yuno should be a little bit more like Noct, and people would like him a little bit more, because Noct is kind of more introverted too, but he still has personality. You know, every once in a while we see him roasting on other characters, but when you know, sometimes we don't get to see him busting out jokes, or we don't really get to see him. Go on.
I feel like that's because Yuno hasn't gotten his own arc yet.
I would love that. I would love to get a Yuno arc.
And that's the thing, that's what I was trying to get at, because this whole time I feel like we haven't truly gotten his specific arc to where we truly understand his character like we do with Asta and Noelle.
Right, like Noelle and Asta get a lot of screen time.
Because I thought initially when the Spade arc began and they revealed that he was a prince of the Spade Kingdom, I thought this arc was about him. I didn't think it was about to turn into this whole thing about Yami and William. I thought it was going to be about Yuno specifically, but it kind of just turned into this other thing. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like, I still do want to see Yuno's like character, like not necessarily progression, but just like exploration. Like, we just need more of him. It's not that he's like bad or anything like that. He's a cool character. We just need more of him, if that makes sense.
Bro, honestly, I think you just kind of said what a lot of people are thinking. Like, when it comes to Noelle and Asta, they have the advantage of being on the same squad. So Noelle gets also gets to have a lot of screen time. But when it comes to Yuno, him being in a different squad, he doesn't get a lot of screen time to actually develop. So all of his development takes place off screen. All of his power-ups take place off screen. Like, all of his training takes place off screen, and I think that somewhat hurts his character. But like you said, if Yuno were to get his own arc, I think that would be very cool. And when you brought up how you felt about him when, you know, he was first introduced, I actually liked him a lot. He was probably my favorite character for a long time, because he always believed in Asta, and I saw that on the inside, because he's an introvert. So I saw it on the inside. But as time went on, you know, after I started to kind of, you know, he started to drop in my character rankings a little bit, and Asta became my favorite character after like the Mars, you know, in a dungeon kind of conflict. That's whenever Yuno kind of took a back seat, you know, and he kind of got less interesting because honestly, Asta's the most interesting character in the series. So whenever you got a main character as good as Asta, you don't really need. It's supposed to be duality between Asta and Yuno, and whenever Asta is just so good, it's kind of like, what can Yuno add that Asta already doesn't add to the narrative?
Right. And my thing is, I think that Yuno can add a lot. It's just, I feel like we just haven't gotten it yet. Like, I feel like, because I like to think Bot is actually saving arc for beyond, like, the power-ups and all that. Like, I'm saying character-wise. Because that's what I've been thinking he was going to do for a long time, you know?
And the thing is that also made him drop in character ratings was whenever he lost to Zenon, he dropped in character ratings after that happened.
I mean, I don't see why that was a bad thing, though, because I thought that was great for his character. Because, like, majority of the time, I mean, Yuno's lost battles before, but, like, 90% of the time, he's usually taking dubs. So it's like, for him to have that major L, and not only that, but nearly die and have the Golden Dawn be slaughtered, I thought that was an amazing moment. I thought that was, like, some top-tier stuff from Black Clover, honestly.
Yeah, I honestly agree. So maybe that point right there was pushed by the haters, because you know Yuno does have haters. In what I call a Yuno hater is somebody who hates on Yuno for no valid reason. You know, I feel like him losing was just a chance for the haters to kind of attach on and hate more. You know,
attach on to. I mean, like Asta lost. I don't like like Noelle lost to Vonica. I don't get the point of like slandering one character for losing when other characters have lost too. Like different context, you know? Like, and with Yuno, again, it's just like I said before with the Zenon thing, I thought that was a great thing because we saw his character in true despair for the first time. We have never seen Yuno, because like you said before, we've always seen him as this quiet, introverted, we never see him really, I mean, like, okay, he'll maybe, you know, roast you, like how he was roasting Zagrid and the elf arc,
right?
But we never see him like do, you know, like be as extrovert as someone like Asta. But like in that specific moment, we actually see him break down and actually scream. That was probably one of the best moments throughout this entire arc, in my opinion. I don't know why people misinterpret that just because he lost somehow bad. Like, no, I thought that was great for his character. Like, I don't get how that somehow makes him a bad character. That doesn't make any sense, honestly, to me. But
I don't really think Yuno's a bad written character. I do think he needs more screen time, and I agree with you 100% that him losing to Zenon actually propelled his character development forward, because we see at the meeting after the loss, he actually had emotions, you know, because a lot of the times, throughout the series just was kind of bland when it comes to his emotions. He would not really express emotions. But after you see him, you know, kind of yell out in agony, then after that, he kind of starts to express emotions a lot more. And I think the idea that you suggested that he get his own arc, I think that would do wonders for his character. I think Yuki Tabata might need to do something to boost Yuno's ratings a little bit. And I think the Boreas form helped with that. So we're just going to have to see on the next, you know, like list of characters that people vote for where he places.
Right. I mean,
he's still pretty high.
In the top 5. He's still pretty good. Like,
yeah, he's still pretty high.
That's still good. Like, I don't think that's bad.
He's still pretty high. Like, in my opinion, he has a lot of fans, but it's almost as if he has an equal amount of haters.
Maybe on our side, I guess, of like our side of the fan base, I guess. But like, I don't know. To me, I think it's just a matter of like when Tabata finally like gives, you know, like the true arc that in my opinion.
I don't think, like I said, I don't really think he's a bad character. I just wish he got more screen time. I think
he's pretty good. I just think he just needs that arc to where he needs that defining moment that like you know how Asta has his defining moment. For me, I'm just saying this from my perspective, from seeing the series. You know how Asta has his defining moment when he like stands up to Veto,
Right.
and then you know Noelle has hers when she gets her Sea Dragon's roar.
Yep.
Right. I'm saying we need that, but for Yuno, but in a different way, of course.
Yeah, we just need honestly more screen time because
Right.
Noelle was
really
able to
just
get that.
To me, it's really the screen time. Like you said, it's the screen time. If we could have more time to be with around his character, we would probably learn more stuff.
Yeah, he has a lot of potential, dog. Like he really has a lot of potential. I don't think he's reached his full potential as like he can, you know, but he's definitely set up to have a lot of potential. Like he's literally royalty and he's the rival to Asta. But another thing, while I'm touching on him being a rival to Asta, sometimes it does feel like that's his only purpose in the series, is to be a rival to Asta. It doesn't seem like, because if you think about it, he has the exact same goal as Asta. And if you already like Asta, you're not going to root for Yuno to become Wizard King because you already like Asta. You see what I'm saying? And you want Asta to become Wizard King. So it's like, it's kind of like he's taking a backseat to Asta.
And see, that's the thing, because I feel like with the rivalry being friendly, you don't necessarily get to see them fight, so we don't necessarily know how their dynamic would be if they were to actually fight. But I think that, like, me, I like them having the same goal as fighting. I just think that they I'm thinking that Tabata is going to like shift that Wizard King goal to something else. Like it's just like, I think that's like just a temporary thing that they're saying now, but I think it's going to shift into your future, honestly. But I don't know. It just depends on how the story goes.
Yeah, honestly, we're just gonna have to see. I think we touched on pretty much all of the points so far in this video. I think we touched on a lot of good points in this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that off there. Basically, hopefully we still have time for Yuno to get, you know, more screen time and stuff like that.
There's a plethora of time. It's not like
we're in a rush, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But
like
it's just if the series were to end right now, then yeah, it might be a little problem. But since the series is still ongoing, we still gotta give Yuno more time. You know, the series is not over, so I'm gonna leave that there. Any closing thoughts you have?
Like I said before, I think Yuno is a pretty good character. I'm not gonna say he's like great or anything like that. I still like, and I don't think like a lot of the Black Clover characters are like great like that for me. But like, I think that Yuno is good within what they have to work with. But
yeah, I think
he definitely does need improvement in terms of him getting his own arc. And I think Tabata's gonna do it. I don't think he's just gonna like there. You know what I mean? Like I think he's gonna do it eventually.
Facts.
But,
Facts.
yeah.
I feel that. Yeah, that's pretty much it though. Ko has a channel and we made a video on his channel. Y'all be sure to check that out. I'm gonna leave a link to that video in the description, so y'all check that out and go subscribe to him, especially if you liked anything he has to say. You can see he knows what he's talking about when it comes to Black Clover. So you have anything else to say?
No, thanks for having me.
So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's been your boy NeoXO, and I'm out.